So it's probably a combination of factors, from the dry Vegas air, now the dry, cold-ass freaking Ohio air. But I think the spray tan really dried out my skin. I had to switch to a moisturizing body wash, but it seems to have been doing the trick. So I'm starting to feel a little less dry. But plan for tonight's lift, powered by a total of, so far, about 160 grams of protein, 40 of fats, actually no, 32 of fats, and 88 grams of carbs. Most of those carbs coming from rice cakes with some sugar-free jelly sprinkled onto them, which that doesn't mess with me. Like that, the sugar-free like Smucker's jelly, it's sweetened with like some of the like the maltodextrose or the polydextrin kind of whatever sort of stuff. That doesn't really give me any kind of bloating issues. It's anything sort of solid. Like I've got a whole little rack on my pantry full of like the Quest bars, where it's the low calorie, like allulose, full of fiber kind of protein bars. And I mean, they taste pretty good. And like as a basic dieting kind of like hack, like when guys are always like, oh, you got to check out the macros, this bar is fucking sick. It's, you know, it kind of sucks because it's like I don't even want to eat them because it's just going to make me bloated, right? I mean, it's not really conducive with what I'm aiming for. And right now, I'm as sensitive to that as ever, right? Because it's like peak week, you know. I'm trying to really get into like literally, basically, a current final form. So those are kind of off limits. So all my treats are usually just the rice cakes with some of that sugar-free jelly. That works out all right. Now, sugar-free does not mean calorie-free. It does have about 10 or so calories per serving. It's something you got to look up and make sure, but it all gets counted. Every calorie gets accounted for, even a little handful of anything kind of random on the scale. Oh, that was 3 grams of carbs worth of a Pringle. Yeah, there's no Pringles in my pantry, but just as an example. But I'm starting to feel a little bit more normal. The day after, or no, maybe not the day after. The day after show day, after filling back up with water, dude, my hands felt so freaking swollen just because I was so like puffy and I mean, really just holding on to every ounce of water that I had drank. But now I'm getting back to normal, so my waist is starting to trim down to actually like having an empty stomach again, which is good for me. So now, really, like I've been saying before, the game plan is just the same as normal. Another few days of regular dieting, cardio, calorie deficit, regular training, and then what would that be next Thursday, show day, Wednesday. The next Tuesday, that's when things start to get a little funky with the like much less solid food, so I can have a real kind of trim waist, water, whatever, but we can focus on that later. So plan for tonight's lift, which I feel pretty energized for, just straight chest, nothing else, nothing fancy, with some cardio afterwards, of course. But I'm not gonna go too wild. I'm not even gonna start with incline Smith machine because that's heavy pressing right now and kind of freaky, kind of dangerous, you know. Not like for real, but you get what I'm saying. So I'll probably start with some cable work instead. Now that might be cable flies, but I think, well, I don't know, we'll just have to see. But cable flies, cable press, maybe swing like a free dumbbell bench, or I guess just a free adjustable bench over to the cable machine so that I can do some converging cable press, and that'll really be all I need. I don't have to overload my pecs with as much tension as possible right now, like I would usually aim for when I'm bulking up, because it's not the goal, man. I'm talking stimulation, I'm talking get a pump, go hard, do my cardio afterwards. No, I guess there's one more step in between that, and that's pose down, enjoy the pump, then do cardio afterwards, and come home and have a big bowl of tuna with maybe just a couple of extra rice cakes too. Still haven't thrown that cough from like 2 weeks ago, but luckily I'm not feeling so sick I was getting hit hard. I feel like I got the I'm not totally certain. It might have been the flu or something, but I was really kind of out of it for a little bit. But luckily, no hurdle that I wasn't able to get over. So I think that's all there is to say. I can guarantee that within the hour, well, or at least within an hour from now, I'm going to be posing out saying, "Holy crap!" I'm probably not at my grainiest look yet. I'm still holding on to a touch of water, but I guess no point talking about it. How about we just get started and see what we're looking like? All right, let's start with some bent over converging cable press. So kind of half fly, kind of half press, because I do want a good squeeze and hold at the bottom, but we'll just go from there. No. 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 Yeah. No. 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 Okay. Oh, goodness. One more of those. And then I think a set of flies would be a good change up. No. 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 Oh my God. Oh. Yeah, let's do some lighter flies now. Holy crap. One more, dogs. No. 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 Let's do some machine press. We're getting closer done though. Only 2 plates necessary here. Two plates and a better song.
I gotta be keeping
Okay. Holy crap. Yeah, shit, I think that's it. Let's go put it down. Now that did not take freaking much. And frankly, my chest feels as pumped as if I did like 4-plate Smith and a bunch of crazy heavy like machine press and flies. So I'm definitely feeling the 2 days of deficit since being all full and carved up and extra watery yesterday. That's a pretty insane like strength and energy differential between yesterday's arm day and today's chest day. But that is kind of what I'm looking for, because I want to get all these extra carbs and water out of me so I can get a touch leaner, thin out this body fat layer. And then when I go through the process of drying out and carbon back up, it'll be even freakier. But let's just see how we're looking with this pump. Whew. Oh my goodness. Oh, holy shit. Yeah. Bulbous is the only real word I can use to describe that. But not done yet. For you, we get to go in the car, have a little post-workout debrief. But for me, I've got some more freaking cardio to do, so I'll see you after 30 minutes on the bike. The dang universe is testing me. There's a Chipotle right next to the gym. And of course, since I pulled in, I can see everybody in there just grubbing away. That's all right. That is all freaking right. That'll be me later on. I've got some plain ass canned chicken with a couple of rice cakes waiting for me at home. Quite the damn freaking treat. But that was a good lift. That was a little bit closer to what I was expecting this week's workouts to feel like. A little bit lower muscular endurance, but still reasonably energized. I shouldn't really start feeling too tired until that last, well, honestly, probably the last lift that I end up doing before I call it, to kind of let my whole system kind of give itself a little bit of a reset. But yeah, that 2-plate press at the end was just right. Like, I probably could have moved more weight, but there would have been no reason, because I could get a really good squeeze at the top with just the 2 plates, come down for a pretty reasonable stretch, and then the same thing. So these workouts are getting a little bit simpler now because I'm just not aiming for the craziest stimulation, or what's the word, activation maybe, you know, because I might be a bit more concerned with making sure I do like presses from a few different angles and flies from a few different angles, like all really kind of hard heavy sets when I'm bulking up, partially just because I have like the muscular endurance to do like 8 really hard working sets back to back, right? Because right now with running on freaking less than 400 calories worth of carbs, shit, man, after a couple sets you definitely start to feel it. But it doesn't really change my overall approach to the lift, right? I'm doing as many hard sets as I can with as much weight as reasonable for my current state until I'm fully fatigued and fully pumped. So when I'm eating a ton of food bulking up, obviously I'll lift heavier weights for probably slightly more sets. And now that I'm, a bit more depleted, lower on actual, just physical energy, glycogen, ATP, and everything else, lighter sets, less sets, right? So one thing that I get, that I see commented sometimes is, well, if all you care about is going hard, then how do you track your progressive overload? Which is a good point, right? Something to consider. But if you really are pushing yourself hard, then progressive overload isn't even something you have to really consider. It'll just kind of begin to happen. This has always been my sort of approach like when I see guys whip out the training notebooks and they got the apps and everything else, like nothing wrong with that approach to the training, all right? Because, okay, I did 135 for 10 last week. I'm in a bulking calorie surplus, whatever. Okay, let's try to go for 140 for 10 this week, you know? But how I've looked at it a little more is more so, okay, I'm going to go as heavy as I can for 10-ish reps, and I want to hit legit failure, or like on a Smith machine bench or something. Like, okay, I feel pretty strong. All right, I can do 3 plates today. Let's do as many reps as possible. That's what I'm aiming for, right? So I end up picking a weight which puts me around that probably 12, 13, sometimes even as low as like 8 or 9 rep range. And just by taking that set to legit failure, and this is more in a bulking context, then I did just push myself as hard as I could. So assuming I have a good recovery and legit diet and everything else outside of the gym, and then I recover and come back for another chest day, for me to go at a set, especially earlier in the workout when I'm fresh and strong, with that same mindset of, okay, I want to pick a weight that's as heavy as I can manage for like 12 or 13 and go as hard as I can go, then assuming I actually did recover and gain a little bit of extra strength and size in the meantime of that last lift, which now lift by lift, very marginal, right? Nothing crazy, but it does begin to add up. So maybe I got 3 plates on the Smith machine for 12 last time, and this time I got 14. That might be a cue for me for the next chest day, or maybe the one after that. All right, well, I was able to do 3 plates. All right, this time let's do 3 plates and a 10, 3 plates and a 25 maybe. And even if that 3 plates and a 25 might be a little bit heavier of a jump, if I still hit legit failure where I have to re-rack it or else I'm gonna get freaking smushed, and maybe I only got 8 reps, I still pushed that set to my personal limit, or not even my personal limit, but my own physical limit. And that's what I'm most concerned with, right? So if you constantly redline your set's intensity, and I mean redline in like a good way, you know, a reasonable rep range, 8, 12, 15, freaking even 20, and you seriously just push it on the regular, then assuming that you got a good amount of rest, you got a good amount of freaking hydration, electrolytes and everything else, you got a good amount of food in your system, you're carbed up and everything else, then by going as hard as you can go in the gym, you basically got no choice but to make gains, you know? So that's, honestly, I think that's my favorite state of being, because when I'm bulking up, food at the wazoo, sleeping like a baby, drinking a ton of water, I mean, I'm going to bounce up to like 260, probably like that once I start, you know, eating as much food as I'm actually hungry for. Dude, there's not going to be any, you know, lethargy of these lifts from like the dieting fatigue or anything else. I'm going to be completely primed to go as hard as I can, lift after lift after lift, and going that hard is going to feel good because I've got that whole recovery system in place, you know? So that's why I'm always so adamant about talking about, like, okay, make sure you got a good amount of rest, make sure you drank enough water, make sure that you ate enough and had like some legit real meals throughout the day before your workout, so that when you do roll up to the gym and you got your pre-workout in your bag next to you, you've got some freaking glycogen at your disposal to really use when you hit that workout. Because if all those things are in place, then the quality of your lift and the amount that you're going to enjoy actually pushing yourself will begin to just freaking grow exponentially. Because if you're actually rested, fed, hydrated, everything else, then the action of pushing yourself as hard as you can, it isn't a chore. It doesn't feel like work. You know, when somebody's extra tired, if you didn't get enough sleep, if you didn't drink enough, you got a headache, maybe you're really screwing yourself. You went out drinking the night before, now you're freaking hungover. Yeah, what are the odds that you're going to have a good workout? You know, you might have a good workout, like you might push yourself hard and still, you know, drag yourself through it, but you're not going to have as much fun. You know, there is most certainly a point to, like, all right, even if you don't feel like it, get in the car and go to the gym anyway. Even if you're tired, go work out. But if you've got the option to set up your sort of outside of the gym routine such that you're not tired and you are energized and you do get to go hard in the gym, that's going to be so much better, you know? So it's like, why torture yourself, right? So that's my thought process on the matter. So that's why it starts to irk me, especially now after dieting down, in this deficit for so long. Hearing these guys talk about like, oh man, I can't, dude. What's the best bulking meal, man? Dude, come on, more food. Keep yourself carved up. Watch the scale. As long as you're, if you're not gaining weight on a week-by-week basis, that means you got to eat some more food. Which, frankly, oh my goodness, I'm in I'm in my furthest state from relating to anybody complaining about getting food down in a bulking phase. I mean, I've been there before. Like at the end of every bulk, I'm at a point where I can't eat any more food to actually, sustain progressive weight gain. So I mean, I have been there. I do know what it feels like to kind of feel like you're force feeding in a way. But look, man, right now, I don't even want to think about it. I'll try to just keep getting myself excited about these little meals and save the bulking mentality for later on. But yeah, if you take anything from this little car talk specifically, dude, I promise, the more you prep for these lifts, the more you're going to enjoy the lifts, the better you're going to perform during the lifts, the more recovery and actual progress you're going to make. I mean, just upward freaking spiral from there, right? So that's my little ender for this 9-day out check-in, right? Set yourself up for success, literally. But I get just one more meal. It's 9:30. I'm gonna pass out. I think I'm gonna try to start waking up a little earlier. I've kind of been jumping out of bed more like at 9-ish. I think I got to get back on my 6 a.m. alarm kind of grind. Jump out of bed, slam some kind of energy drink or like a coffee or something to get the cardio done ASAP. Because the sooner it's done, the sooner it's done. But that's all I got there. So one more day closer to the Arnold Amateur. Getting freaking excited. So I'll see you tomorrow for something. Probably a leg day. I'm not training a bunch of legs right now because I don't want to build up like, systemic fatigue from a hard leg workout. But I think tomorrow will be a good day for legs. Well, I guess we'll just see that.